Maybe it's the climate. But the girls out around East Lake, Oregon think nothing of picking up huge chunks of stone and carrying them around. Well, maybe you've guessed the answer. The stone is pumice stone, a very light volcanic ash formation found hereabouts. So light, in fact, it floats. They just can't make the pumice stone stay under however much they try. They could even tie it around their necks for life preservers if necessary. Wait, you haven't seen the half of it. This remarkable oak float. It's a very heavy wood, a variety of mahogany, western mahogany they call it. And in the water, it'll sink every time. This certainly is a strange place where things go by opposites. It must be one of the effects of modern civilization when a wild squirrel turns sissy and instead of going for nuts, gets a sweet tooth and craves ice cream cones. Mrs. Douglas Hook of Toledo, Ohio, who's responsible for the little fellow's unusual taste, says he won't even look at a nut when there's an ice cream cone inside. Now I ask you, isn't that nutty? They call him Oscar, and he comes when they call him. His diet of ice cream cones seems to have made quite a playboy out of him, and he'll frisk and play like any kitten. Oscar is no fool. He should scratch for acorns when his meal ticket is already provided. Auto owners often go to great lengths to get low license plate numbers. But here's a man who's had the same number for 25 years. It's W.B. Hines of White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, a brother of General Hines, former Chief of Staff of the Army. He's one man who never has to worry about remembering his number. It all started some 25 years ago when Hines asked for a loan number for his car. He got it all right, and as the years roll by, state auto officials make it a point to satisfy his strange hobby. Meet Mrs. Ross Meskimen, probably the country's only lady Boilermaker. And she's a good one, too, as any worker in the oil fields here at Roxana, Oklahoma will tell you. She started in the trade a number of years ago as a helper for her husband shortly after this marriage, and she still helps him. But now she's an able craftsman in her own right. That's her son working with her. Oh yes, along with boiler making and welding, she's raising 3 children and running the Meskimen household. A remarkable woman in a strange occupation for the so-called weaker sex. John Elmer Clifton Maynard of Henderson, Arkansas, is known as the tall man of the Ozarks. His name fits his frame. He's 7 feet 4 inches and reputed to be the tallest man in Arkansas, where they tell tall tales and raise tall timber. Being a giant has its disadvantages, says Cliff, especially if you have to use an automobile. He has plenty of trouble shaving, too, indoors. The mirrors are in the wrong place for him. However, a kitchen chair and a willing wife solve that problem. At plowing, he can outwalk any team. And at picking fruit, he's a peach. He could get a job in a circus, but prefers to remain as a tall farmer in the Ozarks. A Dr. Bretish of Vienna has devised a novel and remarkable water shoe that makes long-distance swimming as easy as walking. The mechanics and action of this unusual footwear are described by our Austrian cameraman in the following quaint way. Sporting in the water now child's play with indispensable help of new swimming feet. Flapper fins on footgear make large and small, not unlike webs on duck's paw, then in the swim. 5 pounds heavy for each foot make like walking, and possible to go with them ashore. In water, when pulling out leg to push, flapper fins open, spread, and push much water behind, so 2 times distance goes by. When leg doubles up, flapper fin does fold up to make simple go-through motions for next kick-out. It's that easy. When learn easy use of waterfoot, man can swim for hours without being bored. Also, by light movement, standing upright in water comes natural, so to enjoy rest as long as desired. This makes swim shoe pleasant for life-saving and shipwreck. Well, after that simple explanation, the value of this strange invention should be clear to everyone. Many curious ththings are hatched over a desk, but a pigeon nest on the living room desk of a 16th floor apartment in New York City certainly shows a new type of homing instinct for pigeons. When the apartment resident fed the pigeons on a windowsill, she didn't expect them to move right in, but that's just what they did, building their nest twig by twig on her desktop and proudly raising their progeny. Progeny, did I say? Prodigy is the right word for the unique bird. The world's largest refrigerator is at the Grand Coulee Dam in the state of Washington, not for freezing meats or vegetables, but for freezing earth, so that it will not slide and hold up work on the dam. It's a marvel of engineering science and ingenuity. 6 miles of piping driven down 150 feet in the earth. When the hills started to slide, endangering lives and construction work on the giant project, they figured it would take a year and cost $250,000 to remove the hill. One of the engineers had this bright idea, so they froze the moving mass in short order at a cost of only $30,000. Strange are the ways man uses to outwit nature. It's remarkable how much you can teach a lion when he isn't hungry. And despite all their traditional jungle instincts, the great cats sometimes become as faithful and as playful as a kitten. Here at Gay's Lion Farm at El Monte, California, trainer Harvey Stewart has accomplished wonders with Aladdin, a 2-year-old male African lion. In less than 2 months, Stewart has taught Aladdin to become a first-rate performer, capable of stunts that most humans would balk at. It takes affection to handle the big cat, Stewart says, and so with a hug and a kiss, well, quite a few kisses in fact, Stewart coaxes his royal pet to go through a most unusual stunt for lions, wire walking. Aladdin's no pussyfooter, but he wants to know just where he stands. This playing along on a shoestring is ticklish business, says he. With a little more practice, he'll probably be ready to try crossing Niagara Falls. He has 2 speeds forward and 1 reverse, and backing out of a tough spot is just good horse sense, even for the king of beasts. For such an unusual feat, Aladdin certainly should get the lion's share of the applause.